Hey you guys, welcome back. I'm so happy you're here. We are discussing something super important today. Basically answering the question, do you need to wait until you are technically in menopause to start menopause hormone therapy, or MHT? A lot of people call it hormone replacement therapy, but technically it is now called menopause hormone therapy. So we are going to get into that today. For those of you guys who are new here, my name is Hannah Thornburg. I am a second-year resident family medicine physician here in Florida. I'm starting my own practice after residency. It's going to be an entirely women's health practice. It's going to be integrative women's health. The clinic is called Thornburg Integrative Clinic, LLC. So I am super passionate about all things women's health, absolutely love it. And today we're kind of getting into that myth-busting topic of, do you need to wait until you are technically in menopause to start menopause hormone therapy? Which, you know, from the name, it kind of makes sense to everyone's credit, but we are going to get into that. In order to fully address that question, I want to first define what is menopause and what is perimenopause, and then get into some symptoms that a lot of women suffer with. So to get into it, menopause, technically the average age of it is around age 51 for US women, but menopause is by definition being 12 months without a period. And there's no other cause for this. It's not like you have some other condition that's causing this. So 12 months without a period, or 12 months of amenorrhea. On that 12th, that day defining the 12th month since your last period, that is technically your day where you are diagnosed with menopause. After that, you are postmenopausal. Before that, you are in perimenopause. Perimenopause can actually go on for years. It is defined by kind of your ovaries. I like to think of it as the ovaries are kind of aging out, and so consequently this hormone called follicle stimulating hormone is trying to kind of yelling at the ovaries, hey, come on, ovulate, we need more estrogen, we need more progesterone, keep working, come on. And it needs more of a signal to really trigger that ovary to work, and consequently you are getting just erratic fluctuations in your hormones. I mean, estrogen is peaking one day and then going down the next. Sometimes you have progesterone, sometimes you don't. So the hormones are fluctuating, decreasing, increasing at rapid rates of change, and oftentimes cause what people will experience as kind of a hormonal or emotional roller coaster during this time. And it's very valid. They also may experience increased bleeding during their period, decreased bleeding during their periods being super close together or super far apart, or, you know, one or the other as they progress through perimenopause. So moral of the story, a lot of unpredictability during this time. It's really important to take this time seriously. It's not like it's just a week of perimenopause and then you're in menopause. People experience perimenopause for years. The ovaries are kind of figuring it out, kind of decreasing in function over years. And after about 20, 30 years being in your reproductive years, this is a new change, and your body is not used to these really low hormone levels, and this causes a lot of symptoms. A lot of symptoms people kind of correlate with menopause are hot flashes, or hot flashes occurring at night, which are kind of night sweats, people will say. A lot of other things people can experience are the genitourinary syndrome of menopause, so vaginal dryness and consequently kind of irritation in that area, pain with sex, and also urethral irritation from where you pee. So people can have increased urinary frequency or pain when they pee, increased risk of UTIs because estrogen is very involved in that area, believe it or not. And then a lot of women can also experience brain fog or fatigue or difficulty sleeping or even joint pain. We're finding a lot of really interesting symptoms that you wouldn't have really expected, but now that this topic is being more talked about and women are starting to open up and we're studying this topic more, a lot more symptoms are coming out that are related to menopause and the changes in hormones women are experiencing. One symptom in particular that I really, really want to drive home today before we talk about treating perimenopause is the mood changes and the mental health challenges that this population of women really experience. So perimenopause can start in the 30s, but typically more in the 40s is when most people will start to kind of transition in perimenopause. And this population is very high risk for mental health challenges, anxiety-like symptoms, depression-like symptoms. And this is because, again, estrogen going down. Estrogen is involved in the neurotransmitters serotonin and dopamine. These are our motivation, feel-good, happy hormones. I'm not saying serotonin is an antidepressant, but it is involved in the same type of neurotransmitters that antidepressants are. So you can kind of think of it as your more antidepressant or, that kind of hormone versus progesterone, which is also produced by ovulation. So if we're not ovulating as frequently, if the periods are a bit more irregular, the ovaries aren't working as well, women in perimenopause aren't always ovulating regularly. They may have lived their whole life ovulating regularly, getting their luteal phase, and consequently the corpus luteum is making progesterone. But when you're in your perimenopausal phase, and then when you enter menopause, when you are not ovulating anymore, you are not having as much progesterone in your perimenopause phase, and then in your menopause phase, you are not having progesterone being produced because you're not ovulating. Progesterone is actually involved in the GABA neurotransmitter, and GABA is very kind of like the anti-anxiety, if you're going to think about hormones. So more of the anti-anxiety hormone because it's involved with GABA. Again, I'm not saying it's an anxiolytic, but I am saying progesterone can help, with anxiety and that kind of pathway. So if you think about serotonin going down and progesterone going down, women are experiencing a lot of mental health symptoms. Women may say, yeah, I feel really keyed up and irritable and anxious, or I feel really down and low motivation and tearful and brain fog and all these kind of things. These are a lot of common symptoms women are experiencing. If you're a physician out there, or if you work in healthcare at all, keep this on your radar when you have a woman in this age range and is feeling just not herself and that she doesn't have control of her mood, or she may feel crazy or in her head, when meanwhile her hormones are doing things that they have never done before, and she is trying to hold it all together when really there's an internal battle going on that's very valid and due to hormones. So, moral of the story, perimenopause symptoms are very real. They're due to drastic changes in hormones, and the symptoms are very broad. There's a very broad range of symptoms that women can experience. And I love this because it's so individualized. This is the reason I'm so passionate about this and I love treating this, is because you really need to cater to the woman in front of you. It's not just a textbook thing you check off the list and treat everyone the same at all. So to bring home our answer, you do not need to wait until a woman is in technically menopause before prescribing menopause hormone therapy. You can prescribe menopause hormone therapy in perimenopause for women who are having symptoms. If you're experiencing these symptoms, it's worth talking to a physician who knows you best, knows your past medical history, because there are contraindications to menopause hormone therapy that your physician should know about if they are experiencing this and knowledgeable about this. So there are some people who may not qualify, but there are other safe non-hormonal treatments. But for most women in perimenopause who are having symptoms, MHT is super safe and extremely effective. And so I think it's so important that women know about this, because I don't want women, a lot of women already are, but I don't want a lot of women waiting. I don't want women waiting until menopause and, just really, really struggling for years in perimenopause before they get treatment in menopause. I want women feeling empowered to ask their doctor now if they're suffering and ask them about their options and be empowered to advocate for yourself, because what you're experiencing, you're not crazy. It's very, very real. And this is a known thing. The American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists does state that hormone therapy is a medical treatment for both menopause and perimenopause, so this should be widely known knowledge. But unfortunately, a lot of women kind of misunderstand that. There, even some medical practitioners may not fully understand that and think that they need to diagnose someone with menopause before starting MHT, and that is simply not true. So here to bust that myth and empower anyone who's struggling to seek care, and a doctor who is not afraid of MHT, because it really is safe for most people, should feel comfortable starting that for you. So finding someone who is well trained in menopause hormone therapy and is not afraid of it and is able to fully assess you and find you the right option that really can support you and your symptoms is so important. There are some exciting studies coming out as we continue to learn more and more about hormone replacement therapy and all the benefits of it, there are actually some exciting studies coming out that starting MHT in perimenopause may actually help to decrease the risks of MHT and help boost the benefits. And some of the benefits include, supporting your bone health, actually decreasing your risk for colon cancer, interestingly enough, and then also supports cardiovascular health because estrogen helps to support cardiovascular health. And so there are so many benefits of MHT. And so starting in perimenopause, more studies are coming out and there's some exciting new research that's already in the works. And it looks like this actually may be even more beneficial to start early. Again, when you are symptomatic, talk with your doctor about it. So I hope this really helps to bust the myth that you have to wait for years and then a year without your period till you have that menopause diagnosis to start MHT. You absolutely do not. You can talk with your doctor if you have symptoms in perimenopause and ask them your options. And one of your options that they should consider definitely is MHT or menopause hormone therapy. Again, there are some contraindications, but your doctor, can risk stratify, and most patients who are symptomatic do qualify and can do really well with this therapy that is really safe for women. There was a lot of fear in the past in the Women's Health Initiative. The therapies we have today, like micronized progesterone and transdermal estradiol, are all super low risk and safe, and a lot of women do qualify. And unfortunately, even women who qualify are struggling because they are too afraid to ask, or people are too afraid to give it to them and don't understand, really who qualifies for this wonderful treatment. So I hope this is helpful. If you have any questions, let me know below. Of course, this is not medical advice. This is just what is out there, that you can treat perimenopause with menopause hormone therapy in the right patient who qualifies and doesn't have contraindications. So talk with your trusted doctor. I love this so much. This is a huge passion of mine, and I can say this has been one of the most rewarding things to offer my patients who do qualify for it, because they experience relief so quickly. It is just one of the most rewarding things, just from the mental health to the physical health. Hot flashes get so much better, and it's just so rewarding, and I am so passionate about this. It irks me knowing that there's a whole generation of women, because of fear from the Women's Health Initiative and the news that was spread around that. It just breaks my heart. There was a whole generation of women who kind of had to go through all of this without this wonderful therapy that actually has a lot of health benefits. And so I'm really excited to be in a day and age where, in medicine, we're kind of awakening to the fact that this is actually a really effective and safe medical therapy. And it's really important to empower women and offer them that and work with each individual woman to find the right regimen for them. So this is something that I love learning about. I love offering my patients who it's a good fit for. And it is something that I will be continuing to learn more and more on, because it is so individualized and there are so many exciting things to learn in this area. And this is definitely something that I will be offering in my practice after residency as well. Thornburg Integrative Clinic. If you are interested in joining my waitlist, I'll include the link to join below. Or if you're interested in more of an individualized educational consult, this is not medical advice, but you can always join that, and we can kind of have a one-on-one educational session, which is super fun to be able to offer. So thank you guys so much for being here and for your support. If you are interested in more about what my clinic is going to be like in 2027, I recently posted a video on that, so you can go through my page and learn more about that. It'll be an integrative women's health clinic. So I'm super excited. If you have any more topics you want me to cover, definitely let me know. I'm going to be making more of these educational videos. I think it's so much fun, and I think there's a huge need for education in this space. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Drop any questions or comments you have below, and I will see you guys next time.